is coming, grab your guns. Stack cash funds, fathers teach your sons. When politicians talk, assume they're lying. And living on your knees, much worse than dying. The culling is coming, grab your guns. Stack cash funds and teach your sons. When politicians talk, assume they're lying. And living on your knees, much worse than dying.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
All right, just got last night went and saw Extreme Dwarf Wrestling.
Man, I wish I could have went to that. It seems like right up my alley.
Dude, they threw a dwarf onto my girl's friend and then hit him with a fucking baking sheet over the head. I had my camera out. I got video of it, like as it was happening.
Dude,
great.
Dude, like, so is this like just they travel around, right? It's Extreme Dwarf.
They go, yeah, dude. They go all over the U.S. and now they're doing like, because it used to be only 21 or older, and now they're doing Tucson sold out 2 shows, and they do like you can bring your kid show, and then they do a 21 or older show. Yeah,
were there kids there?
There were kids there, dude. And actually, there was a guy we work with. He was front row as well, like kind of catty corner to us, and he was there with his kid. And he had just bought a beer, dude. And he had sat down, and the dwarfs are fighting outside the ring. And the one dwarf grabbed the beer out of his hand and smashed it over. And he's like, I got my beer.
Oh, shit.
It's gone.
Extreme.
Yeah, dude, it's a blast. If you don't, if you haven't seen it or it comes to your area, definitely check it out. The venue they do it at in Tucson is a blast. Good place. Encore. Got owners, a good dude too.
That's a good spot, dude. I went and saw all that. No, not all that remains.
I saw all the remains.
Yeah. No, dude, we went and saw dude, I can't remember the band. I saw one of the guys we work with there with the MSSs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there having a blast.
Yeah. I've seen multiple, like during the pandemic, one of the Tommy Vex from Bad Wolves, he's by himself.
Yeah.
He came there, dude, and the place was like a madhouse.
I bet, dude.
A madhouse. Everyone was like, from all the COVID nonsense and whatnot, and he was there. It was like literally.
I don't know what it is, man. Maybe because I'm fucking 37 now or whatever. Like that set and setting is just doesn't agree with me anymore. Like
You're not moshing?
I'm not fucking moshing.
I got fake knees. I'm moshing, bro.
Dude, it's not that I can't do it. It's that dude, all right, let me tell you this meltdown I had one time. So we went to a reggae concert, and it was like just full of, Native Americans or whatever. I was up at the Marquee, and my wife worked there. She had worked there at the time. I think she just recently stopped working there. Anyway, so we go to this reggae concert, and that day I had that TATP training where it was like, yeah.
Oh, that's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like
tactical training.
So like
movement, like basic infantryman skills.
You spend an hour just getting ambushed in the fucking desert or whatever. Like, it just, I don't know, man. Like, it just made me feel like I can't move. There's people all around me. There was a fucking giant dude behind me who was just like, everyone's smoking weed in there, So he's just coughing on the back of my neck, dude. And I'm just like, can't move. And I'm thinking about like, dude, if someone's shooting right now, I could not get out of here. There's no fucking way I can get out of here.
Well, the nice part about Encore is that it's very pro.
Yeah.
They got things taken care of there.
So I don't remember them actually searching me. I'm sure they did. They probably did. I just don't remember it.
No, they don't search you. Actually, you know what? The dude got me yesterday. My girl was handing me a White Claw at the last second that she wanted to bring into the place, and the guy like patted me and he was like, "This can't come in."
I get that because that's like their money,
Yeah, no, dude. It wasn't even. She just like we were standing in line because we wanted to get like the front row seats, and you buy like VIP section.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right? So we're standing there, like we got there early and we're waiting, and she just didn't finish it. But she's like, "Oh, just bring it in." Like,
shit.
Yeah. Of course, it's me, right? Because she's 110 pound, little Mexican chick, and she's not hiding a White Claw on her.
Did you keister it or what?
Didn't keister it. Didn't go full commitment on it.
Yeah, the problem with that is like it gets hot then real quick. Yeah, it's
little tang on it.
Yeah, dude. There's different things you can do with it. It's not. I don't recommend keistering to smoke on your drinks.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just I'm not a big. If I go to a concert, like last night's Nails concert I went to, it was like in a stadium, so you like have assigned seating, like you sit down and you watch. I enjoyed the shit out of it, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't like people brushing up in my personal space.
Dude, we were watching, and you wanted to talk about like how far America has fallen. Me and my girl were.
What do you mean?
Hot
I don't want to talk about that. America's doing great.
Oh, dude. 1990 was like we're watching like Stained music video on the TV. We're in like the hot tub. I got a TV outside. Stained was the other one, Pantera, and then we started digging back like Pantera 1992. Dimebag, yeah. And it's actually gonna be 20. It'll be like 20 years this year, right? Yeah. 2024, right? 2004. And then dude, Metallica, 1991, when they played in Moscow right after the fall of communism. You ever seen that?
Yeah, dude, it's a wild fucking crowd, like wild crowd,
dude. It's like 1 million people literally going fucking berserk.
Yeah, that's
like you could, and they were so happy to not have like that oppressive like government bullshit on it. You could just see like the look on everyone's face. And another thing I noticed: no fat people.
Weird. Well, I mean, you're talking mean in Russia?
Communism. I mean, there were no fat people. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like it was very in shape.
Well, very
people.
Hungry people.
Yeah.
That seems to be the case most places you go. I think Mexico's beating America though, as far as obesity rates. Mexico City, I think.
They just had it's going around on like the meme pages. There's some like Guatemalan chick.
Yeah.
There's like obviously like close to $3 bills, and she's like waddling in one of the caravans, and someone's like, "No way, she walked all the way from Guatemala."
No fucking way, dude. No fucking way. That's the funniest thing when they're like, "I'm poor" and all this stuff, and then you look at them like, you're obese. Yeah, you look like you ate 2 poor people. Is what you look like. Yeah, I know it's fat shaming.
I now know 6 fat people, and you're 5 of them.
Yeah, 5 of them. Yeah, but I wish I've seen that video that you're talking about about Metallica, and right after that was right after the fall.
Yeah, 1991 was when Berlin Wall come down. 90 or 89?
89. And the Soviet Union dissolved in 91.
90, yeah. So it's like right after like the Russia went down, and then like. Well, dude, here we go, man. So, like, here we go with even spiraling on that. Like, Bert Kreischer in The Machine, right? Everyone's heard that skit, right? Yeah. Where he's talking about, like, the Russian gangs that ran the Soviet Union after the fall of the Soviet Union, right? Yeah. It was all the criminals, right? Because they were all organized already. Yeah. They were all ready to go.
And armed.
Right? And you're going to see the same thing over here, man, if things get really, really bad. The criminal element will be the first groups to take powers, right? Because they're all already working together. Like, you got these Venezuelans that are popping up into New York City on like scooter gangs, stealing people's cell phones, pulling the data out of it to access their like credit cards off of Apple Pay and all that. Like, these people exist. They're out there. This is not a fairy tale.
Yeah, that's fucking dark, dude. I have this libertarian anarchist like utopian mindset in my brain. Like, no matter how much evidence there is to the contrary, as far as like, if shit collapses, like that's your chance to everybody kind of we start over, and we start a society based on the non-aggression principle, private property rights. We cooperate together. It's almost as utopian as fucking communism when you think about it.
Yeah.
But like that's what I mean. The last episode we were talking about own your neighborhood. If you do get a group of like-minded people like that, I think those ideas are much more appealing to people. But have you ever seen Starship Troopers?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? Great. Do you remember the scene where they're in school and Radchak or whatever, their fucking professor, they're salty, he's missing an arm and shit. Yep. Well,
Roughnecks, Radchak's Roughnecks.
No, he says violence is the supreme authority from which all other authorities derive. And that is 100% fucking.
Yeah, and then that chick is like, my mother says violence doesn't solve anything. He's like, tell the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
What do you think they would say? They wouldn't say anything because they were wiped off the map. Yeah, because violence. Yeah, so like but I believe in like a libertarian anarchist type deal, there would be violence, but so you need strong people, strong men, strong women that are capable of violence. You know what I mean? But are good people. Right. That's what you need, and I feel like.
We're in the complete opposite direction.
I've come to terms with that in the last few years, especially COVID. I realized how fucking weak everybody is,
dude. It's like what is the saying is you're not if you're not capable of violence, you're not peaceful, you're harmless.
Yeah, right. To be a good person, you have to have the capacity to be bad, and then choose not to be. If you don't have the capacity to be bad, then you're just a fucking rabbit.
Yeah, dude, there's sometimes where like bad people just gotta fucking go. That's it. You give them a chance. I'm all for forgiveness too, but you gotta want forgiveness
to a degree.
Yeah, to a degree. I'm all for forgiveness, man. If you're actually to a degree, but there's certain crimes that are There is no forgiveness. Like your forgiveness is a quick way out. Is pretty much it.
Someone harms one of your children or something, or someone you love, like, because what is justice? Justice is supposed to be like some kind of equal exchange. Like if someone kills your brother and you kill them, or if they have a brother, you kill their brother, and that would be an equal exchange.
Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
Eye for an eye. Like there has to be something like that. But let's say someone harms your child or something. What can you take from them other than their lives? Because the harm they did to your child, like
exactly,
it's for their life.
You look at the stats on that.
It's their life.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. So I'm still hoping that if this collapse happens, which I hope it doesn't, but hope for the best, prepare for the worst kind of deal. If it happens, hopefully there's enough of us that are good, strong people that can keep things together. Hopefully I'm one of them. But
yeah, like I said, man, I think your best. It's going to be a rough period no matter what. And just to reiterate last episode, get a group of people together and start preparing. Start getting. Hey, if you're not capable of violence, you're not peaceful. You're harmless.
Yeah.
Everyone should be training at least once a month, man. At least once a month, get even if it's just another person, and you're doing small little drills,
and it makes you a better person. Doing hard physical activity, working out, jujitsu, whatever, anything hard, man. It really just shows you who you are and makes you just tougher for everyday life.
Dude, I just got back from my my knee replacement, so I've just started jujitsu again this week, and I've got like a white belt leg now. Like I feel like my left leg. I'm not really just like drilling and teaching right now, and I was literally having to demonstrate moves and being like, can I use your other side because I can't bend my leg like that.
Did you watch those videos I sent you? The one with Michael Jackson where it's like
my shoulder,
it's like doing jiu-jitsu over 35. It's like they abused me, my shoulders hurt, my back hurts.
Can I reach up here?
Yeah, dude. But yeah, you got to do hard shit, man. Eat steaks and run up hills. Something.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I don't know, but yeah. So, what did you think of that Putin interview?
With Tucker?
Yeah,
I got like a half an hour left in it.
Okay,
I'm like hour and a half in. So first off, like, you want to take anything away from it, he is obviously blatantly outclassing in intellect our American leaders.
Dude, I got so depressed when I was watching. He gave the first, if you haven't seen the Putin interview, the first 30 minutes, he gives a clinic, a dissertation on the history and the historical reason why you can make an argument that Russia has a claim to at least part of Ukraine, if not all of Ukraine. I'm not saying I agree with him, but he knew the history. He went back to 800.
I think even there, he's saying it's either A, it's part of Russia, or B, they're a culturally like close people.
Yeah.
And he's not going to let the West take them and separate them and make them their enemies. It'd be like if they tried to make like Canada our enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If Russia was like dicking around in Canada with like Justin Blackface Trudeau up there, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the equivalent of
Justin Castro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Castro.
If you make a good point, and I want to talk about that for just a second, is like, I feel like Americans in general, there's this, we were all raised with it, like American exceptionalism, like we're the best, we're the greatest. Like we have this uncanny ability to not be able to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Like if BRICS, if anyone's not, you know what BRICS is.
Right, dude, and he actually touches on that in the interview.
Yeah, he does. I don't remember exactly what he says, but
he was talking about it economically and just basically like, where like he was talking about China and cooperation and how Russia is it's now despite all the sanctions and everything we did to it, it's the largest economy in Europe is Russia now.
Yeah.
Right. And he was talking about how China wants to cooperate. And India, he like mentioned that in the and I think he was kind of alluding to the fact like, oh yeah, you can keep on funding
Did
Ukraine.
He say that? They're the largest economy in Europe?
Europe, yeah, he said that about Russia. Yeah.
Oh, they're bigger than any of the European
countries.
Okay, I was like, they're not part of Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're Europe. Like Russia's Europe. Like the powers. Do you think of Russia as Asia, or do you think of Russia as Europe?
I mean, they're in Asia technically, right? Isn't that where they?
No, I think it's like half and half, right? They got the largest landmass in the world.
Yeah. I've always assumed that they were part of the Asian continent, though. I don't know. Somebody out there, Google it.
Yeah, is Russia?
It's weird because when people say Asians, that could mean like.
Do you think Ukraine is Asia?
They're technically right. Like
I say anything like outside, like because like I say like maybe it's because I'm a World War II like history nut, but like I say like anything east of Moscow, that's Asia, right?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess. But so yeah, they have BRICS. So anyone who doesn't know what BRICS is almost like the equivalent of what NATO is. It's BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. But now Saudi Arabia is also involved.
Yep.
Which is a real problem.
Is Iran in that too?
When I said India, yeah, it's Iran. Iran, not India.
I think India's in it too. I think you're right. I think they're in it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they've got it a bunch. They just don't want to fuck with the acronym. They got something working there.
Yeah,
marketing.
Yeah, BRICS. Anyway, so that's what BRICS is. And imagine if Mexico wanted to, it'd be BRICS or BRICSM or something, and they brought Mexico in. You think the U.S. would just be like, yeah, that's cool. Mexico can do what they want. Hell no.
He mentioned that on Ukraine too. He said we went before the coup in 2014. Anyone that doesn't know, we ran a coup in Ukraine.
The Maidan Revolution.
Yep. Threw in Zelensky. And so he mentioned that he's like, they were pushing to join the EU and they had open border customs with Ukraine. So all good, like goods could go back and forth. Like Ukrainians were manufacturing stuff on the Russian side, shipping it to Ukraine, vice versa. Open borders, almost like America was, yeah. But so like, was it NAFTA, right? Almost like a NAFTA kind of thing with Ukraine. And he said like when they took over Ukraine, he's like, they had to stop that because it would have flooded our economy with all sorts of goods from Europe. Like, so that dude's not even like, if you watch that interview and you listen to Putin, like his thought level, like Joe Biden isn't even like, dude, Victoria Nuland isn't even in this realm.
It made me so sad because like at the time, so when Tucker did that interview, I think the night before, was it when Joe Biden had an emergency press conference?
No, was it the day after?
It might have been the day after. It was really close to that interview because I didn't see the interview.
Because the DOJ said he was guilty of having classified documents that he shouldn't have had, but he's too senile and incompetent.
He's incompetent to stand trial for those charges or whatever. So he did an emergency press conference. If anybody hasn't seen this, it would have been on the 7th or something. Anyway, and basically he got up there and tried to make the case that he's not retarded. Or at least not, senile. He's like, well, come on, man. I got a great memory. I wouldn't be able to get done what I did if it should not have been done under pressure, whatever he was.
Biden word.
So like, I'm watching this with Putin, and then I'm thinking of my president just had to go on national TV and try to make the case that he's not retarded, while this guy is giving like straight up in-depth history lessons, like of his own country. I don't think Joe Biden could tell you any of the minutia about the Civil War, Dude,
even just like, and I don't know, I felt like Tucker could have hit him on some of the more obscure stuff, like the biolabs in Ukraine and like things like that. But it's almost like, I feel like it was a good base setup to get like normal, like the normies who their head isn't out, into it. Like, okay, this is how this is this guy, this is how he thinks.
Sometimes I forget that we're psychos that pay attention to this to a degree that most people don't.
No, yeah. I mean, there's a whole layer that he didn't touch. Oh, yeah. Right. And
but how much do you think Vladimir Putin would have been like, yeah, the West is evil and they're messing up here, and they're doing this evil? Because what did Napoleon say? If your enemy's making a mistake, never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's doing. I think that's why they're sitting pretty in with
But he wouldn't have said like, oh yeah, they're doing this here, they're doing this evil thing here, they're fucking up here. I don't think he would have said.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it would have been Tucker to put him like up to it, and then see the reaction. Like that's Tucker's job, right? Yeah, is to kind of mess with them. So that's kind of. But I think the vibe was to kind of get a baseline on that dude. But
well, I mean, he was a KGB officer in East Germany. That guy is definitely strangled. He's seen the light leave people's eyes like firsthand, Dude,
remember a couple of years ago when they were trying to say that he had like cancer or like and like it's obvious like it was the opposite direction. Like
yeah, I don't believe anything when they say it because look at this. Remember when Donald Trump had that tweet, that Kofifi or whatever? Yeah. And then he tried to make a whole thing of like, oh, this is his mental decline. He's lost a step. And then now they're saying Putin has cancer and all this. But Joe Biden, they're like, oh, he's great. He's doing fine. It's like, yeah, it's always the opposite of what they say.
Well, yeah, man. you can look at like just the miscarriages of justice going all around in the United States.
Like what kind of miscarriage of justice?
Let's see. We got a transgender rape a kid, and she got an activist lawyer and
Kentucky?
got out with got out with no jail time.
Maria. It was like the whitest dude ever. His name chose Maria for his name.
Right.
Yeah. Excuse me, her name.
Yep. You know, and then you got the Biden with the document thing, right? And then Hillary Clinton. Then meanwhile, they're trying to string Trump up on like nonsense with the documents.
Like 90 charges or something. It's
stupid, dude.
It's clearly a political witch hunt.
Yeah, but it's not just there. Like people focus on the Trump thing. Like there's court rulings that are going down all the time, and it's like cartoon world at this point. There was just one out of Hawaii, the Hawaii Supreme Court. They had the Bruin decision, which basically said that these blue states got to start issuing concealed carry permits to people. They can't just put it into purgatory where it takes you 7 years or they never answer and whatnot. The governor of New York was like, we're not going to follow that. Hawaii went a step fucking crazier. And there was a case just recently, and they said the Supreme Court is wrong, and then quoted an episode of The Wire in their fucking legal brief that said the old days, they are the old days, because they'd be the old days. Referenced it, whole 9 yards, with, like, cited the episode and season. It was like season 4 that guy said that, which is like the last season of The Wire, I think. But great TV, great series on HBO if you haven't ever seen it.
I have not finished it. No, I haven't seen a few. I saw the whole thing with Omar when he just walked in with shotgun and mowed a bunch of people down. Like,
dude, the first season is great. The first 3 seasons I thought were great. Even the last season is all right, but the first 3 seasons are phenomenal, dude.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, so you're seeing it all over the place with like, and then selectively targeting people. Let's see. They had the kid that shot 4 people up in Michigan, right, at a school, and then they put both their parents on trial for involuntary manslaughter.
Oh yeah. What was like?
They just convicted the mother.
Yeah, he had like a Hispanic last name, didn't he?
No, he's a white dude.
Well, I know he's white, but I thought he had a Hispanic last name. I don't know.
Yeah, George Zimmerman was
and
Hispanic dude with white name.
And the shooter, that trans shooter,
in Nashville.
Yeah, the Nashville shooter. Like they held that manifesto close to the chest forever. Sure. And when you read it, it was like, did you read it?
Yeah. Crowder leaked that, right?
Yeah, I think so. And it was like, oh, these white crackers and all this. It was like super, which she was white, so I don't know what that was about. But they didn't want to release that.
They've indoctrinated the left, the cult. Yeah. They've indoctrinated them to hate white people. Yeah. Because they want to bring in the group of people they're bringing in. It's just to bring the whole entire immigration thing, man, is to just lower the standard of living of the United States citizen. They want a China model. This place wants a China model. The guy there, they built China from nothing over there. That's what they want and how they want to run this place. And your Americans that have been here are not going to accept it. And that's it. So what do you do? It's like Longshanks and Braveheart. The problem with Scotland is it's filled with Scots.
Right. If we can't beat them, we'll
breed them out. And that's what's going on. And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, this, that, thing. If you're from this country, if your family's from this country, has been here for, we'll say, 20 years plus at this point. We'll say you can remember before 9/11. Your family has roots from before 9/11. They're fucking they're like, yeah, no, we need a new group of people in here.
Which I feel bad. My dad was born here, but my grandmother was from China and my mother is from Iceland. So I'm, I guess, first generation. But anyway, I was here before 9/11, so I guess that makes me on their list.
There's people that are like, you could be here from after it, but like there's people like the legally immigrated because like I was talking about that in Moscow. Like they love the idea of like, hey, I can actually do what the fuck I want. I don't have this overarching government pushing on my throat. And that's what they want here is they want everything to be controlled from DC. And we see it in our line of work, right? Where the centralization, where it's like, oh, well, I got to run it by this person.
Yeah.
And then I got to
bureaucracy over bureaucracy. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, the China model is, I don't know, like that was interesting when Putin was talking about the Chinese, actually, because the Chinese they're killing it right now. I'm not a fan of that government. That is a totalitarian, evil entity. I'm not a fan of most governments, but that's a really bad one. But what they're doing is that Belt and Road Initiative, they're going around and they're offering these countries, these poor countries, third world countries or developing countries, whatever you want to call them. Trump had, what do you call them?
Oh, shithole countries? Yeah.
He's going to these countries and...
it's an accurate description for some places.
For some of them, like Djibouti, Peru, even Peru. They're going down there and they're basically trying to reestablish a new Silk Road. If anybody doesn't know what that is, that was a old literal road that connected Asia to Europe, pretty much, through the Middle East to Europe. And that was like a trade route. They had it for like 2,000 years. It's real Marco Polo, if you remember that whole story, took place along the Silk Road. Anyway, so they're trying to do that on a modern scale where they're building infrastructure, like the Belt and Roads, right? So the roads are maritime roads. They're building ports. They're going to all these places and they're like, hey, we'll build your port for you. There's like 2,600, 3,000 projects they're doing. I know this is boring, but this is important because this is why they're killing us. And they're not doing it militarily because they can't take us militarily. But they are going to these countries, and don't get me wrong, the US did this too. Have you ever heard that book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman?
No.
Dude, so this guy, he talks about what the US was doing in, pretty much from the 50s on. They would go down South America, all over the world. But let's say they go to Honduras and they're like, hey, you guys are a very poor country, So here's what we'll do. We'll build a hydroelectric dam for you. It'll supply your whole country with power, and it will do it for you. We'll give you a loan, $1 billion loan to do it, and we'll try to bring you up into the first world. So they build the dam, they give them the loan or whatever. Well, what happens is things happen. They can't pay their loan. Well, what happens? This company, which is really the U.S. government, says, okay, well, you defaulted on your loan. We own your power now to your country. And then not only do we own if you want you want us to turn your power on, you're going to have to do X, Y, Z, and they do that all over the world. So anyway, China's taking a playbook from the United States, and they're doing that with the Belt and Road Initiative. They're going to all these poor countries, building infrastructure. It's not because they care about these people. They want to, instead of showing up with the military like the U.S. has been doing the last 50 years, they're showing up with briefcases full of money, and they're just investing in these countries. But it's like a trap. It's an investment trap, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have exploitative bank loans and balloon mortgages and handing out loans to people that they're never going to be able to pay it. I got a pup in me. Here we go.
Yeah, sorry, puppy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the Belt and Road Initiative, and that's it was interesting to hear Putin talk about how the Chinese are crushing America, and the dollar is just like all our allies are pulling out of the dollar.
We need to get a Bitcoin guy because
buy Bitcoin
on this podcast. We need to So I got a guy I trained. He's a black belt actually up in Canada. He's got his own school now, but him and another guy I trained with, they were telling me about Bitcoin when it was $1,000, and I was like, yo, they're gonna kill you. If this takes off, I was like, because it's a threat, how we run everything is with the Fed Reserve and the printing of money. So dicking with the dollar is usually for us Muammar al-Gaddafi, was going to mess with the fucking dollar.
If you get off the dollar, so this is the problem with BRICS, right? Is because the world's reserve currency is the dollar, the petrodollar. So after the Bretton Woods Agreement, this is fucking boring, but it's important. After the Bretton Woods Agreement back in 1944. They basically made an agreement with Saudi Arabia that all oil would be traded in the US dollar, right? So if you want to buy oil for your country, you have to pay for it in dollars. So right after that, everyone started hoarding dollars, taking dollars, because that was the way they were buying oil, and then it became the currency of the world, right? And that's how we've been controlling people for a long, long, long time. Well, that's starting to change now, and China is one of the key players, so is Russia. And Putin even said it. He's like, we didn't get off the dollar. You guys put sanctions on us. You said we can't trade in the dollar, because the whole, shit that we basically caused. Yeah. So all these countries, our country is large, but Russia is the largest natural gas exporter. They supply Germany, all of Europe with natural gas mostly. And, and then he talked about, did you see the part where they talked about the Nord Stream pipeline?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that we blew that shit up.
My entire thing with all this outside the US geopolitical stuff is that it's gonna hyper speed up the bad shit that's coming here.
Yeah.
You actively that's why when people you're rooting for Putin, I'm like, I'm really not, because he has a game plan to beat us, and when he beats us, the way he's gonna do is really bad. I'm just not for us doing stupid stuff and playing into their hands.
Yeah.
So all this geopolitical stuff is oh, why is it important? Is there anything we can really do about it? Hold our elected leaders accountable. Make sure that the Senate isn't passing a 67. Eye Patch McCain doesn't get $73 billion. And then leave the border wide open while Ukraine gets like rained on. You know, it's like the Marine Corps has like helicopters falling out of the sky and killing its Marines, but you know,
we're sending $76 billion to Ukraine for Bradleys and stuff.
So that's why that's important. Is every time you see us throwing out money to these foreign countries, that's like going to directly affects the quality of life here, and the purchasing power of your dollar is going down, and you're seeing like mass homelessness, mass drug addiction, etc. in the streets. Like there was just an article about there were 1,200 squatters in an Atlanta neighborhood because all these houses are now like bank owned. BlackRock or whatnot has bought up all these houses, but no one can afford anything. Right? Literally, if you right now, if you have two people working the median income, which is like $57,000, so you're making like 114 net in your household, you don't qualify for a loan. If you have any sort of debt, car payment, nothing, you will not qualify for a loan. So you can't even get a loan for a house in 2024 if you have two people working at the median income. Where are people supposed to live?
Does that seem like an empire at its pinnacle?
No, man, it's going off a cliff, right? So. I go run with my dog every night through a new development that we have, and it's all being built. And there's this dude. He's homeless. He works construction. He just goes and sleeps in one of the houses every night. Like that's his move. He's cool. I've ran into him. I got this sweet little thermal, which actually when we talk about like what you can do or things you can do, we'll get to that. I got this nice little thermal. I take my dog for a run. He's out there gallivanting around, and I've ran into him like 2 times. And I'm like, hey man, just make sure there's if there's no one else coming in here and causing problems and whatnot. He's like, oh no, I don't want to mess up my good thing. So I'm like, all right, dude. And he's like, he's not I can tell he's not like drugged. Like he's probably smoking weed or whatnot, but he's not like your typical zombie homeless. I don't have him like folded over himself, He's out there. He's out smoking cigarettes.
Like peeling his face off.
Yeah,
that's there's a lot of indicators, right, guys? There's a lot of indicators that this empire, we had a good run, but this is clearly, we're on the slide downhill. And it's just, it goes, what do they say? It's slow, then abruptly,
Yeah, right.
First and gradually, and then all of a sudden. Yeah.
That's true. Freight train.
Yeah.
We're rapidly heading the freight train thing. Did you see, by the way, did anyone keep up on the border issue, right? With all that nonsense. Yeah. Apparently, listen, share the podcast because some dude from Tennessee did exactly what we told you not to do.
Told you not to go down there, dude.
I don't even think he made it there. I think he was like literally talking to some Fed online, some FBI guy, like literally the meme of like the FBI guy, talking to him. It's like all he does is keep on sending me memes, right? But this guy was like stupid enough to be like, I'm going to go down to the border and shoot people up and cause a problem.
Yeah.
Think smart. Stop being a dumbass. Stop making plans with random people that you've never met.
If there's a hot girl who's interested in what militia you're in, it's the FBI.
Yeah, dude, I've met one hot chick ever in my 40 years of life, ever, that has been down with like the whole entire it's not a common occurrence.
That is not. And if it is, no,
and if it is, they're usually like a gun bunny that is making mad money off of like being sexy and into guns, and they'll roll on you in a second because they're like 100
for sure. Yeah, so that guy got sacked up, huh? Well, we told you not to go down there. I don't even know. It's on you, bud.
Yeah, hopefully this bill keeps on getting killed, man, because it's not going to, it literally just enables and opens up the border.
So this border security bill, obviously it failed this last iteration, the one that was $76 billion or something to Ukraine and another 15 or 16 to Israel for some reason, and then $9 billion for
the Palestinians have tanks and F-15s.
Oh yeah, you got to go to Gaza. You got to fund both sides. If you fund both sides, you win.
Right,
you always win.
You always win.
Yeah, but anyway, so they're trying to blame that on, I guess, the Republicans, right? That bill's not passing. And every time I've heard someone talk about it from the left side, they're saying, "Well, we tried to get this border bill passed. The Republicans don't want to secure the border." It's like, really, dude? You think that's what they don't want?
The core problem is that Mayorkas and pals are just interpreting immigration law however they want. Like, here's a prime example. One of the valid reasons for asylum is torture. And they're defining torture as like gangs, gang violence, which is like the United States has gangs and gang violence. In fact, it's what we keep on telling you is that you have a lot of gangs that are operating here.
You're running from gang violence, and what city are you going to? L.A.?
Oh, you're going to Baltimore?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Baltimore? Okay.
Detroit, good luck.
Yeah,
right?
dude.
So they're defining that as torture. And
you beer me, dude?
yeah. So you pass this bill, and
Need that opener.
the language is not as strong as the current law. So it's just going to let Mayorkas and pals do whatever the hell they want.
What was this?
And give work authorization. That's what they're really
what was
after.
this number they threw out there? Like they wanted to let in like 55 or 8,000 aliens a day. Like let them.
There's a cap of if it goes over 5,000 for a week or hits 8,000 or 1,000 at any time. Might be 2 weeks actually, but it's 5,000 for a week, 8,000 at any time. This emergency border overrun where you can't claim asylum, you can't do anything. But even that is predicated on the secretary. It's the secretary's decision.
Oh, what decision do you think he's going to make?
Right. So, and then the president can suspend it for like 45 days, and it gets less and less enforcement powerful as years go by. It's not like it's going to be like that forever. It's going to go down. Struggling over there, bro.
Dude, I've only had one. Promise.
So yeah, it doesn't solve the core problem, which is that the the establishment is basically interpreting everything any way they want, and then saying impeach us. And then if you can't get 60 votes, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
You have a DOJ like the DOJ should prosecute them for blah 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 blah. Oh wait, who's my attorney general? Oh yeah.
One way out, bro. So this is what I didn't understand during COVID. You had all these governors and even the president like rolling through like fiat, like saying this is an executive order that you have to wear a mask everywhere. Everyone has to get vaccinated through executive order. And then when it's found to be unconstitutional, right? A court somewhere, whether the Supreme Court or a lower court, says this is unconstitutional. You're violating people's Fourth Amendment rights. They're like, oh, okay, sorry. And then they just do another executive order in a different way. But if something's unconstitutional, especially
violated their rights.
You violated their rights, which is illegal, and I think there's consequences.
Yeah, there's jail terms. Yeah, no, 100%. We need to start.
Shouldn't there be?
That's what needs to start happening. And
I think.
Yeah. So they're going around just acting however they want, right? And then like if they're found to be wrong, it's like, oh, nothing happens, no consequences, right? Zero consequences to them. They'll go after like Trump for like stupid document stuff, but like forcing people to get experimentally vaccinated where they played every game they could.
Because the Republicans are pussies. They're pussies.
It's people like they're pussies. They're the same people.
Okay, that too.
Yeah.
Like even the ones that claim they claim not to be like their whole thing.
There's like 20. There's like 20 in the House and maybe like 5 in the Senate.
Yeah, if you're not every day screaming for someone to be locked up in jail, then you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah, no, we're so past that at this point. It's not.
I agree. Yeah.
So if they can run around with impunity and do whatever they want, we need to start when dealing with them. Any crime involving a politician or the state. We're not I'm not saying like murder, or I'm not saying like violent stuff, but like these bullshit process crimes that they keep on throwing in and hitting people up with. Say even something as stupid as like an unregistered silencer, right? We'll hem you up and throw you in for felony jail.
Doesn't sound like a crime to me.
Right. Doesn't sound like a crime to me. I'm on that jury. Guess what's happening?
Jury nullification.
Jury nullification.
Google it.
Yeah. That's gonna be a big hammering point here going forward. One of the ways that we can go and really mess with this system, because it's really about forcing the corruption to come as front as possible so that as many people see it. One of the ways we can do that is jury nullification. All these process crimes, these bullshit process crimes, need to be nullified. Where like, and I'll take the firearms one. Oh, he didn't have a concealed carry permit. Yeah, my concealed carry permit is the Second Amendment of the Constitution. And that's from a law enforcement dude. I am 100% on board with your right to carry a firearm. Tell me so we don't have hey, I got a firearm on you? 10-4, thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right. Don't make any sudden movements. I support your Second Amendment right. But like this whole entire like, oh yeah, he's being charged with no concealed carry permit. Negative. You should not have a jury in the United States that convicts that person of that.
Yeah.
Not a jury, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
Like protesting at a school board, or even even the lefties like protesting, man. Like sometimes you see them, they get but they're getting paid. That's the funny part. They all got sacked up in Seattle and New York for protesting. And I get it. You march out onto the street, you block, blah, 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 10, 15 minutes, whatever. Make your message. It gets on the news. Okay. At a certain point, it becomes all right, you're kidnapping people. Right? You're kidnapping people. You got to let them through. But they're all getting paid for it. But they're a lot of this stuff, dude. Is oh yeah, the January 6th people, all those people that walked, just got guided tours. How are they getting convicted? Is the jury pool that tainted in Washington D.C.?
100%.
You tell me you can't get one. You won't get one person on a jury.
Look where Trump is. They're trying to try Trump. They're not trying to try him in Alabama.
Well, the document case. Well, the document case is down in Florida because it was at Mar-a-Lago, right? So that's where the document case is.
Okay.
The insurrection case is D.C.
The rape stuff was up in New York, right, or somewhere.
It wasn't even, and that's another way. So here's another way of going. It wasn't even. It was administrative civil. It's the Alex Jones playbook. They pretty much what they've figured out is that it's easier to rob your life. It's like taxation, right? I can tax you on the front, or I can inflate you on the back end, right? Mm. So now they're I can throw you in jail for the future, but that's tougher. Or what I can do is go back and rob your money, which is essentially your effort over life, right? Your time, your effort, your energy. Yeah. I can rob you of your money. So that's what they're doing. Alex Jones was a real guinea pig for it with his $1 billion. Yeah, dude. If he's guilty of $1 billion, every other news agency should be $1 trillion. They should be paying. Fox News should be out of business. CNN, MSNBC, Huffington Post, all of them should not be non-existent if Alex Jones was guilty of $1 billion, right?
Right. Yeah.
And they're trying to do. They just did it with Trump with the that crazed out lunatic chick. I don't even know her name, but they hit him up for there. They didn't even have the full settlement.
Jean Carroll or something.
Yeah. So that's how they're running things now.
So we're talking about getting a fair trial, and that's why they select. It's bullshit that they select these places where you're not going to get a fair trial.
But did he even get in New York City? It was just the judge just ruled. The jury, and this is the same thing they did to Alex Jones. The judge made the ruling, and then the jury just decides the damages. Which if I was on that jury, my damages would be zero, right? So that's what needs to start happening. We're going to start pumping that out more and more and more.
That lady's clearly insane. Jean Carroll or whatever, she's clearly insane.
I like how you just see on CNN when she was on CNN and she admitted to lobbying for the law to change so that she could go after Trump. The statute of limitations was 7 years and she changed it to 20 years.
Oh, dude, it's bananas, yeah.
And the lawyer is on CNN
And then while this whole case is going on, she's going on TV and be yeah, rape is sexy. Everyone has rape fantasies. What the fuck are you talking about? I've also learned shut up, shut the fuck up.
You know who's another one like that? Is actually good old Bernie Sanders wrote a novel fiction thing back in the day where it was women fantasize about rape.
Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders.
The sexiest person in Congress?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, good old Bernie.
Weird. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. So one way out, this is, if our executive branch is being run by someone who's not mentally capable of standing trial, how important is the executive branch? If they're just going to try you in a blue place where you could not possibly get a fair trial, how effective is our judicial branch? If Congress, I don't even have to make an argument against Congress. If all these three branches are just so compromised, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, well, the problem is that they've given the executive branch all the power, and then the judicial branch is all in bed with them.
Well, because what did Ratchak say? Violence, the supreme authority from which all other authorities derive. Who has all the guns? It's not the judicial. It's not the legislative. Who's got all the guns?
Right. That's like Andrew Jackson. When Andrew Jackson got ruled against by the Supreme Court, he's and the Supreme Court doesn't have no army, right? Yeah,
that's a good point. It's a fucking good point. Yeah.
So. Yeah. Oh, dude. But here's something funny. There's a website or an Instagram page. I think it's Anti-State. They have
a phenomenal page.
They have a ticker or they throw up a meme, and it's 7 days since some politician threatened to nuke me or use F-15s on me. So randomly all around the United States, predominantly Democrat politicians will just throw out you don't have F-15s. Like, right, like it'll be like a Tuesday, and it'll be like
laughs in Taliban.
Let's see how these people deal with the United States government if we have nukes. And it's like, you're threatening to nuke. I'm like your neighbor.
Yeah, you idiot. I live next door to you.
You're gonna nuke me?
Yeah, dude. I remember that press conference Biden gave when he was like the red backdrop with the Marines.
Oh, dude.
And he was like,
was that like a scene out of like fucking Star Wars or something?
Yeah, people have edited that. Yeah, it's bananas if anyone doesn't remember that. Yeah, it's just there's so many of those instances in just the last 3 years that I don't know how anyone can be like, things are great. This is going great. This empire's just tip top. It's,
keep on keeping on, man.
Keep it on. Yeah, dude.
Dude, you can just follow the dollar. And everyone, here's the thing, is like cash speaks to everyone, right? You can just look at the price of things, look at the situation of like rent, buying a home.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you come from or what your background is. That speaks to everyone. And it's literally falling off a cliff. And at a certain point,
You're talking about the dollar.
the whole entire economy, just the way it's operating. At a certain point, it's going to reach a point of like no return. Like when people don't have anything to lose, what do they care? Like, oh, fuck it, send it, full send. Like if I was living in like as like a homeless person, like in a tent off the side of the highway, like what are you gonna do? I'm a homeless person.
What are you going to threaten me with?
Yeah.
What are you going to take from me?
Yeah,
what are you going to do to me? Life hasn't already.
I get to play basketball with a bunch of other dudes in the courtyard every day.
Yeah.
Like, sweet.
Yeah, somebody was like, I saw some video where it was like, if you're homeless, why don't you just rob a bank? Because if you succeed, you get $1 million. And if you don't succeed, you get 3 meals and a bed to sleep in.
Right. And dude, this is why, like, we're hoping really that someone or something, some force will change this trajectory, because we're happy with I'm happy with my life. Like I got a good setup going on. Like I don't want this shit to go radically bad, but all of you need to fucking prepare, because all the signs are saying radically bad. That's where it's going.
Yeah.
And you can see in Mexico, I think Mexico will be a good example of what you're going to see. You're going to see like a federal government, right? A centralized federal government.
Narco state.
And then, yeah, like pretty much like, oh yeah, you'll have a government there, but who really runs the government? Like
Pfizer, will we run the government here?
Like New Jersey's ran by Pfizer.
Yeah.
So and then we got Raytheon running Southern Arizona.
Tell me what you think about this. Personally, I think the only peaceful way forward, in my opinion, where no bloodshed, no nothing bad, violence happened, and it still might in this case, but it's the only chance I think that we have of a peaceful transition, is balkanization.
Won't happen.
What? Okay. Why do you say that?
And you can see every time that they try the fusion of power, tries to like disperse, right? As we try to like go back, repeal, or like diffuse power out, they flip out. It's instantaneously. Yeah. The apparatus, whatever central, like that DC area will not tolerate it.
What do you mean not tolerate? Who cares? Who cares if they don't tolerate it? What do you mean?
They'll literally they'll send troops.
To where? Texas, who has the second largest military in the world? You know what I mean? Like Texas, that's peer-to-peer combat. I mean, they have Air Force.
Texas is there, but who's the Air Force underneath?
I think
the U.S. military at this point is not what you think. I think they got rid of, with COVID and the vaccine, they got rid of all those people that would not follow that order,
right? And
the high ups. And they went and purged out the enlisted and officer rank, especially the officer rank, with the COVID shots. Yeah. And anyone that said word boo with this and now you're having this DEI flux, because they think at this point warfare with like technology, AI, drones, this, that, the other thing, they don't care about the quality of the soldier. That's what I feel like. They feel that they can run all the like. It's going to be like T-1000. We're going to be fighting a T-1000 ran by like a...
But that's not what's right now. But to take ground, you need boots on the ground.
To take ground, you need boots on the ground. But to kill people, you just...
Yeah, for sure. But but okay. So my AR-15 cost me $1,000, $1,200.
Yeah.
Their Hellfire missile cost them what? How much for every missile they shoot?
A few million. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I know it's fake money, but that's still a real cost. You know what I mean? Like, it's somebody have to pay that to somebody. So like this Civil War movie that's come out, which is kind of retarded about the alliance of California and Texas or whatever.
Didn't Obama executive produce one on Netflix that just happened?
Yeah, that was like, I don't remember what that was called. It was some end of the world about AI or something. But all I'm saying is like, if we were to balkanize, if we balkanize, say like the West Coast balkanized into the Confederation of California or something, and then you had all the southern states balkanized, then you had the Midwest being, I don't know how many people live in the Midwest, like 10,000 people.
But dude, you have seen it already. Like for example, like what is it? Idaho is on the border of Washington and Oregon.
Yeah,
and all those eastern parts of there, they don't want to fucking, because Seattle and Portland are running that state, right? And they don't want any part of that. You would see them already, like things like that, like Greater Idaho.
But they're trying to do that.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
Well, you say that, but I mean, like, I don't see why not. Because like, if you're saying they're going to use force,
yes.
Okay, I agree. They could use force, but at some point, like, it's a hard sell. Like it's like in the Civil War when they invaded the South, they had slavery to rally behind. They had like issues to rally behind. I'm sure.
Right, but listen, man, you're me and you are Nazi, fascist, transgender, racist. What else can I add? Boot jack, thug. Pieces of shit.
White people.
Yeah, right. And the people that they're bringing in there are more. That's what. And wait till
we just piece it all together.
The illegal aliens become part of the military, because I think the game plan is some sort of global conflict where they're like, and you can look at the recruiting numbers. They don't have the recruiting numbers for the traditional Americans. No one's buying their bullshit. They're going to grab the illegal aliens, put them in. They'll fight a brief global conflict, and then they'll look internally. And all those dudes are going to be willing to fucking do whatever the fuck they're ordered to. It's UN soldiers on U.S. soil without the blue hats. Like everyone's like, oh, they're going to have blue helmets, and I'm going to you've seen all those memes about
like American flags.
Right. No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but I mean, that's going to be a pretty costly.
They don't care. People pulling the string don't care.
I get that. People forget because they think that a bulk of our congressmen have loyalties to other countries. I mean, they literally have dual citizenship to other countries in some cases. You're talking about Israel, but
you're right wing people. You want to hop on my girl there, Ilhan Omar, it's all over. We're for not having a dual allegiance here.
Well, listen, I think a national divorce theoretically could work, because I don't think the ability for them to use force is going to be. They won't be able to.
Dude, they'll just do what they're doing now. They rig the elections. Your politicians are never going to do it. And then what? You're going to have the law enforcement apparatus, which is still there, which is all controlled by them, and they'll squash anything.
Yeah, but look at the border thing where Abbott stood up to them and said, "Hey,
did he really?"
Well, it did 160 miles of fucking border infrastructure. I don't know. Even if he didn't really stand up to them. It's a symbol. 25 other states said, yeah, we're on their side, not your side. You know what I mean? Even if I don't know if it's fake, maybe it's fake, but that signal is detrimental to the U.S. government, I think.
It feels fake to me.
Okay, why? Everything's a psyop, I get that, but how is this a psyop?
Because we're Eagle Pass, right? Mm-hmm. Since 2012, where has been the ground zero for stuff in Texas?
Yeah.
McAllen, Texas.
Yeah.
McAllen, Texas is the Rio Grande Valley. It's ground zero.
But they're doing stuff.
It's the shortest route into the United States. That's why they all go there, right? Yeah. So it's okay, yeah, we're stopping people. I'm busing people to Chicago and all this. Until literally Greg Abbott says, yeah, I'm going to hold these people in detention camps.
Yeah.
Or we will you will be if you're found, we'll drive you to the border to Louisiana and kick you out. Honestly,
actually using force.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, wow. It's not. It's all a show. It's because they're still coming in. They're still being moved internally into the United States, and he's not securing all the border of Texas. It's not like he's blocking everyone from entering Texas.
Right. Yeah.
They're still coming in. In fact, we're just walking down the road. They saw the video of the guy who's
I get it. So I mean, regardless of what he's doing, it's still a symbol, of a state standing up to the federal government in a way that's...
Maybe I'm just too blacked up. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. But I mean, I don't know. It just seems like something like that. If they said, let's say hypothetically, the federal government was ordered Border Patrol agents, hey, you're going to go open up that border. You think they're going to do that? No, agents aren't going to do that. Well...
We just saw it.
What do you mean?
With COVID.
Yeah, but I mean that now you have a National Guard standing in between you, so it's like you actually have to use force on armed people. Like you have to.
Are they going to use force on them? Like we're
You
like
have to?
there will be. I guarantee you there will be people that do it. They have the contract that'll do it.
And then when they start dying,
yeah, but that's that. Now we're talking. Now we're talking about the one way out, right?
One way out, yeah. Strife. I don't know. So own your neighborhood. Buy thermal cameras because if you don't have thermal, you're gonna die to somebody who has thermal.
Yeah. So actually,
it's expensive, but
no, dude. This is why I actually brought this.
Show people. Oh shit. What's up, David?
Because
stand by. We're almost.
Anyone who's worked any sort of night kind of, I don't want to say ops because it don't sound like an operator, none of that bullshit, right?
If this is some kind of Chinese, what have you?
No, this is a AGM Rattler. It's a thermal scope. It can be mounted on a rifle, or you can just handhold it. This is what I've been. I have a FLIR Scout, and then I bought this. It's got a 2.5 zoom, which is kind of the downside. So you're not going to be able to be all tactical commando with it, but 100% you can see.
Why is this important?
Being able to see in the night is.
Why is it important to see at night? Because it's half of all time.
It's half of all time of the day, and if what you can't see can kill you, right? Nice picture quality, and you get this for under $1,000 on Amazon. So you're not dropping right.
It's expensive, but
compared to dropping dual tube PVS 14s, right?
Yeah. We're talking 7-8 grand for
right. I've seen 4 or 5 for some.
Oh, you got to get the helmet, the rig, the setup. I mean, it's 7-8 grand.
Right, 7-8 grand. Or this, and so for $900, man, you can be equipped. The downside to it, like I said, is the 2.5 zoom as a base. The battery runs off of 2CR 123s, which you'll get 3 hours out of it. But I've bought a USB to USB-C cable, and I bought these battery packs, plugs right into the side of it.
Do you know who Grand Thumb is? Like a YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, it's great.
He was a SEER instructor. They went to this thing, MilSim Midwest or something, some giant MilSim. It's 40 hours of people just doing simunition, or I think it's airsoft. But anyway, so his whole team, obviously YouTubers have a ton of money and they're all outfitted with fucking thermal night vision. And he was like, yeah, we just fucking destroyed everybody. We were able to get 15 yards of the camps and just shoot everybody.
Yeah. If you were here's something you can do too, is with your friends. When you get thermal, when you get some night vision stuff, just go out and play some tag. You know what I'm saying? One guy has his thermal. You can literally walk up on people in the dark and put your hands on them, and they won't even know that you're there. And we've experienced this how many times? Firsthand. Yeah. It's a game changer. And like I said, $900. I bought this little battery pack. It plugs in and out, USB-C. And then if I wanted to, I can run a cable, put it into your gear, whatever you want to do. Real nice picture. Yeah. I'm able to pick out javelina and stuff out in the desert. It's pretty sweet, man. And under $1,000, and you're night vision capable, right? Yeah. Big difference.
No, that's FLIR, right?
No, AGM.
Okay.
AGM Rattler. I have a FLIR Scout. This is better. I'll tell you right out. The battery on the Scout is a little bit better, but it's 2CR 123. So you buy rechargeable 123s. I got a solar pack here, right? I can charge all my batteries. You get 3 hours off of a charge on the 123s. Yeah. Have another pair of batteries in there. You're good to go. Carry one of these things. Good to go. Right?
It's worth the investment. You know what I mean? If you really have been listening to us and you really think that this is a possibility of things that we're saying, it's worth it. It's worth it to gear up. It's worth it to train. It's worth it to network and create your communities. Within reason. Don't do anything too early I keep on emphasizing this. I do not want this to go further in the bad direction. If possible, I want to avoid the one way out. I would like it to go in the other direction, but I think that is predicated on that being another way out.
Oh yeah, the strong communities, people being capable, things of that nature. Because if it continues going this direction, it's going to be easy for them to. The people running this, they don't care about you, me, your family, this, that, the other thing. They don't. It's blatant. If you think your politicians care about you, I don't know what the fuck you've been paying attention to for the past.
Yeah. No. No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you need someone to make that case to you, then my friend, if things are bad and they're going to get worse.